Hello, everybody. This is Willie Sublett III, founder of RightTouch Solutions, and welcome back to the RightTouch Rundown. I want to start today a little bit different. You know me, it's going to be random. I want to talk about your last board meeting. Not the agenda, don't care about it, not my business. Not the action items, also not my concern, but you should do your action items and get on top of it. I want to talk about the people in the room. Close your eyes real quick and survey the room in your mind. Remember everybody who was there. Okay? Who did the most talking? Who jumped in early? Who finished other people's sentences? Those names can pop off real quick in your head, right? Don't say it out loud. You may be in mixed company. But I want you to think about the person who didn't say very much at all. Maybe they gave you a little nod from time to time. Maybe they took a bunch of notes. Or maybe they responded when someone spoke directly to them but didn't initiate. So for the most part, pretty quiet, right? The question I want to sit with today is what was going on inside that person? I want to be honest with you. As crazy as it sounds, I have been that person. Yes, super boisterous me had didn't have words. Early in my career, both board and professional, I'd be sitting at tables, finally at the big table in the big seat, right? Where I had something real to offer. And I got stuck. I started doing math in my head before I even opened my mouth. Is this the right moment? Is this the right room? Is this an aside? Will this land right the way I intended to land? And sometimes I talk to myself so much that I would never get to the answer of my question in my own head before the meeting was already over. So now I'm driving home, flying down 183 in that beautiful red sports car, pre-parent. I'm an SUV guy now. Thinking of all the things I should have said, because I was going to give them the boom, bam, and the pow, because I know something, and I had things to offer. And here's what I know that I didn't know then. That room was not the problem. Something I was waiting on is permission, which I shouldn't have been waiting on it because it was already mine to take, because I was invited to the table. It's my table. That is what we're going to really be talking about. And if any part of this drives home a feeling of familiarity, stay with me. Now, there are a lot of assumptions about my quiet friends. I'm no longer quiet, I'm very vocal. So I can't include myself anymore. But there are a lot of assumptions about my quiet friends in meetings. There's assumptions that they are disengaged. They don't have much to offer. They're just there for the ride. But I want to offer a different possibility of perspective. What if that quiet person in the room is actually one of the most engaged? What if they are sitting there listening to everything, turning it over in their head, analyzing what's going on, waiting for the moment that feels right, and that moment just never came? That's not disengagement. Please remember, that is something else entirely. So over the next few episodes, we're going to have some honest conversations, because we do honesty on this channel, about what it is, where it comes from, what all of us, the president, founders, executive board, members at the table, can do about it, including the person who is quiet. Now, let's be clear from the jump. Before we go any further, there are a lot of conversations, books, research, TED Talks, YouTubes about leadership in corporate spaces, talking about quiet people in meetings. Some of it's very helpful. Some of the books I have. But a lot of it does not take in consideration one simple truth. A nonprofit board is not a corporate board. I'm going to say it one more time. A nonprofit board is not a corporate boardroom. If people the people sitting at your nonprofit board table are not always going to be executives. They were not always people who have spent years in professional meeting cultures, learning when to speak, how to position yourself, how to do that double dutch, if you will. They do not understand Robert's rules of order. Hell, they are wondering, who is Robert? And why does Robert get to make all the rules and we have to listen?
And that's why I'm gonna call Robert. Yeah, yeah. Hello, Robert. We got a problem.
They are community members, business owners, parents, and yes, some executives, but mostly just passionate volunteers. They are people who said yes to a mission because they believed in it and believed in you, not because they were groomed for governance and board service. And that matters because when someone at your nonprofit table goes quiet, the reason behind that silence is often deeply personal and deeply rooted in relationships. They may be quiet because they don't want to damage a friendship that existed long before the board invite happened. They may be quiet because they're newer to the table. They've been invited to this before and they're still learning how to navigate. They just got their Google Maps trying to figure out the orientation of the map. There may be some quietness because there are past hurts, past experiences on this board or another one, or just in life because what? Life be life. And it's taught them that speaking up carried a cost that they're just not prepared to right now to pay again. But they'll get there through relationships. We'll get them there. They may also be quiet because they genuinely, carefully, thoughtfully are turning over things in their mind and getting ready, like I was, to give you the boom, bam, and the pow in this meeting, but never found the right moment to come forward. None of these things are the same thing. But from the outside, looking in at my quiet friends, they may look identical. So I want you to remember what we're going to be talking about, which is what is going on inside our quiet person. That is going to be unpacked over the next 3 episodes from all the different seats at the table. We're going around the table, y'all. So in the next episode, we're going to talk about board presidents and chairs. Because if you're running the meeting, the culture of that room is part of and one of your biggest responsibilities. And there are things you may be doing without realizing it, of course, that's contributing to keeping certain voices at the edge of the table instead of pulling them all the way into the center of the conversation. After that, we're going to talk to our quiet friends. Now, let me say this right now, because I want you to keep watching and not just walk off thinking, who is this raggedy YouTube man trying to tell me and kind of come for me? This will not be a bunch of attacks. This will not be a bunch of, this is your fault. Never on this channel. This will be my way of assisting you or to call you in. Huh? I truly believe, friends, that your voice matters because you were selected for that seat. They asked you to be on that board. They want your experience, your know-how, your thought patterns because they know you. And we need your insights and perspectives. I'm going to talk to you about why it's not just welcomed, but highly needed. We don't always need the person talking all the time. We need the person also who is calculated when they speak. Lastly, we'll wrap it up talking about what it looks like when the whole board gets it right. Huh? Chef's kiss. When the culture is built intentionally, just strong enough that every person at the table knows their contribution belongs right there. We're going to leave it there today, but I want to leave you with one more thought. Every person who said yes to the seat at your board table said yes because they believed in something. They believed in the mission. They believed they had something to give to that mission, and they believed in you. The question is not whether they have something to say. The question is whether the room has made it possible for them to say it. That is what we're going to figure out together. So I will see you next week for part 2. And if you're a board president, a meeting facilitator, this especially is for you. As always, I thank you for being here, my friends. If this conversation helped you see your board a little bit differently, share it with the leader who is sitting at the table where not every voice has found its moment yet. Don't you gatekeep. Y'all know better around here. And as always, mission moves best with structure. I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.